Hello, everyone. Welcome to your least favorite podcast. I am Mark, the happy boy, and I'm here with all my friends.
Steven?
Nick Andrews.
And I'm Jake.
This is a show where we just kind of talk about whatever's on our mind for the week. So, boys, what's on your mind?
Did you guys see that fucking Leon Edwards Usman fight yesterday?
Banger. Absolute banger of a fight.
I actually missed it, and I'm kind of sad about it.
Dude, Usman was getting the shit kicked out of him. You would have loved that fight.
I read
They picked his legs apart, dude. Like no use left in his legs. Couldn't even take him down anymore. Didn't have his strength left in his legs.
Someone doesn't get a bone broken in that show. I just don't. I'm not into it.
Yeah, I read a little bit about it. That was the one thing that people were on Reddit were talking about is just the fact that, like, whenever you get knocked out as bad as he did, it leaves a toll on you. And a lot of people were wondering if Usman's even going to be able to come back as fast as he was, and apparently not.
No, he's dead. I think they need to bring back gladiator fighting.
So you're saying like the knockout from the last fight with Leon Edwards has like permanently affected him? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's what people on Reddit were saying. Yeah, potentially.
I don't know how much it affected him because he just literally got kicked to death in his legs and like fucking stomach.
I mean, do you think it was like a better game plan from Leon Edwards?
Yeah, I think it was all game plan that beat this guy this time for sure.
I mean, last time Usman was winning the entire fight up until that kick.
And that's the funny thing is like this time he came in, I feel like just because he got like he's the champion now, he's got a little more confidence and shit in what he's doing, knowing he's beat him before. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, I mean he was setting him up for that head kick the whole fight. Like the first 4 rounds were nothing but like low waist kicks or like leg kicks to try and get Usman to bring his arms down so he could kick him in the fucking head again. And then straight up in the 5th round, that's the first thing he came out and did was try and kick his head off.
I mean, you gotta capitalize on your small victory there. Gotta just play to your strengths.
I mean, he also cheated a little bit, which is fine with me.
Yeah, I mean, I still think that point. Well, he got a point taken away from him because Usman tried to take him down in the 3rd round, and he just blatantly grabbed onto the fence like hard, like full grab, like twice. So they took a point from him, and then he lost that point for the round. But I think him not getting taken down probably saved that fight for him.
I still think they should have to fight to the death. Let's just stop pretending that we're better than that and just throw a knife in there.
There's a lot of controversy on the topic too, just from apparently Usman was like grabbing gloves and grabbing fence last match after some evidence or whatever came out.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
What do you think a fight would look like nowadays if it's like UFC type of setting, but they're fighting to the death? You think it'd be significantly different?
Dude, just go to Chicago at night. Boom.
Yeah, it's not
I don't
like
think anybody would participate.
Oh, I bet you find somebody. I mean, you have to go. You like pull from the prisons, right? People on like death row be like, "Hey, you want a chance? Come fight this guy." Like,
but we couldn't like let the person who won out.
They just like send them to like a tropical island. Like they can't come back to society, but they don't get to live out their days in a jail.
You know that's how Georgia was like founded, right? Like a bunch of people sent like prisoners and shit over.
Yeah, that's like the whole point of Australia too.
I think that's how Georgia was too. Like, Jake, look it up. Here, look up, guys. See,
like the country Georgia?
No, like the state Georgia in Alabama, near Alabama.
I don't think that's a real place.
Hey, they win national championships.
Specifically,
yeah, I don't know about any of that. I don't follow sports. I don't like it.
It's fine.
It's not my thing.
I'm pretty sure that's
I'd watch it if people were fighting to the death, though.
What about like Death Race? You watch that movie?
I'd be 100% on board for Death Race. You get some sponsors in there. The Fords,
Who would be the top 5 sponsors for Death Race? Go.
Like I said, Ford.
Prime Energy.
Oh, Monster.
They're down.
Monster,
no, both. Yeah, Monster, Prime,
all those.
Red Bull. Yeah.
You got to drink a lot if you win.
Probably like Busch Light, Pabst PBR. I don't know. Those sounds like things that you could get on board with.
You guys think outside the box, like Smith and Wesson or something.
I was about to say like it would have to either be some sort of knife and or gun company.
Yeah, exactly.
It does not look like your guys' theory on Georgia is correct based on.
I mean, Australia is though.
Australia for sure, though. Australia
that's the whole point of Australia back in the day.
Yeah,
it's a penal colony.
And look at them now. Almost as good as New Zealand.
Dude, it is wild. I've seen some of these things for Australia. If you're driving through the outback, they have like a wind advisory one because the winds are like hurting your mileage so bad. They're like, if you got like 500 kilometers you can go, there's a crosswind coming at you or a headwind. And they're like, you're going to actually be driving like 800, so you need to be prepared for that. Because there ain't nothing in the middle of that country. There's nothing. They're like, you're on your own out here.
Do people live out there? Is that a thing?
I mean, there's like Aboriginal tribes. I don't know where they live, but there are some people out there. Probably not like in like the heart of it all. That's a pretty desolate place. It's also bigger than you think. Like, you know, you look at the map and you think Australia's like a decent sized country, but it's actually a really big place.
Compared to the size of Texas.
It's like 3 Texases at least.
That's big then. Texas is fucking huge.
It's because they said they have a weird thing they do. One with a circular globe where countries are not. They kind of just get misleading sizes. Some of them are way bigger than you think, and some are actually way smaller. Like Africa, freaking huge. But then Russia, not taking up like a giant chunk of the map like it looks like if you take the round map and flatten it out. It's still big, but it's not like massive, like you can fit several of the big countries in there.
And what's up with all the maps that are like, oh, this country is the size of this, or like these countries fit inside this. So how big is Texas?
I don't know how big Texas is. Probably a lot smaller than you think it is.
Texas is like almost the size of most of the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
Which is just an island. That's the trouble too, because you think about most of the states in the US being the size of some countries in like Europe. They're just kind of they're a whole country, but also about the size of Montana. So it's just weird. And then that's why you get a lot of weird news coming from the US, because you got 50 of these bastards in here, all the size of a country, and you take all the craziness that happens across every single one and just put it under the label of the USA. And that's why it sounds like a clown show.
You can fit all of Germany in Texas, as well as Great Britain, Zimbabwe.
So I'm saying,
Austria,
like, so you know how big
Belgium.
Alabama. That sounds weird. Alabama. I don't know why. That was just sounding weird to me. Like, what's the total size of that? And then take like Germany or something. You get like roughly the square miles of that. I bet they're pretty similar. Just to give you a perspective, since you know that state, roughly how big that is. Go research guy.
You know, it'd also be interesting is throwing the size of like South Korea there.
That would, except I have no clue how big South Korea is.
The thing about like South Korea and like Germany is like, from my sister living in Germany, everything in Germany is like super spread out. You know, it's all like mainly like little villages, as opposed to like, you know, big cities and stuff. I mean, not that they don't have the big cities and whatnot, but it's just like a bunch of like little villages, coming up, and then like in South Korea is just like is built up. There's so many people there, so they just built up.
That's kind of like how like Hong Kong and Japan and all those places do that too. At least their core cities, they just go taller. I mean, look at New York, with like 9 million people living there, right on like Staten Island, all just crammed in there.
Why not go lower?
Well, for there, probably because you hit the water table.
That many people is crappy, dude. I was in Atlanta this past weekend, and just like driving on the highway or driving or whatever it was, 75 was awful. There's just so many people there for like no reason.
I love Atlanta. Their clubs have top-notch security.
I don't think we're allowed to bring that up right now.
Story for another day.
No, that's story for never. You don't talk about those things. For your listeners out there, it's a bachelor party story, and you don't talk about bachelor parties.
What happened?
Yeah.
You were there.
No, I wasn't. What happened?
Yeah, I wasn't there either.
Well, then too bad. Yeah. Oh no, you talk about that stuff.
Do you not like mezcal?
I don't like alcohol in general.
Well, we told them. But you like to drink it, right? Come on, it's good.
No, I don't.
That hasn't stopped you from trying some of the things I've given you.
Peer
You could-
pressure is strictly what gets Nick to drink anything.
If you could literally just skip the whole part to where you're just drunk, then maybe. The whole
See, that's
getting
my
there is
least
off.
favorite. Now I get to the point where I'm like, I just kind of want the taste, and I don't want the getting drunk part.
Yeah, you're
I
also a psychopath, killer. So
I fucking hate it, dude. I'll have like 2 beers and I'll wake up with a headache. It's the worst thing ever now. Fuck getting old.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I'm 30 now, guys. Y'all know that? I'm 30.
Yeah, it's approaching. It's approaching rapidly.
It's not that bad. No, I'm fine. We were out drinking all last night. I just slammed my water like I always do. I'm fine today. Shannon's not fine. She had more. She partook of some Irish car bombs, which sound good at the time, but
You're not allowed to
It's
ask
like,
for that in Ireland, though.
no.
They get mad.
Just call it a car bomb.
No, you don't
Not
bring
an
that up.
Irish car bomb.
You don't bring it up at all. Apparently, that
I-
topic it's based off a true story.
Wait, oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Research.
Might be a touchy
Research.
subject. I know. It was just what Guinness and some what is that Irish cream? Some kind of cream. I don't know.
Oh, it's delicious.
oh, I
Very
love a good cream in my drink. Let me tell you.
I got
In your drink or in
you.
your mouth.
Next time I got
Well,
you.
if it's a drink, it's gonna end up there one way or the other.
Yeah, it's fun. I remember telling her last night that this would be the turning point. This is the point you can stop and just know the night went downhill from here because you had that.
Just before or after sex.
Well, we were still out.
Oh, okay.
It's fine. If she doesn't remember the night, you can be as fast as you want.
We found some more speakeasies, and so yeah, next time y'all are down here, we found more. And
What is a speakeasy?
You don't know what a
Um,
speakeasy is?
It's just kind
No.
of a bar that is usually in kind of a weird area, like a spot. Like instead of going in through like the front door, you're going in like the back door. Like this one we found last night, you go in through the kitchen, and there's like
Going
a
in
cage
through
wall.
Back door, huh?
Yeah, that sounds very unsanitary.
But once you get down there, it's actually nice. It's just like their basement. It's just that they have you. It literally was us heading back to the car, and I was like, "Hey, look at this alley. It doesn't look as like crappy as the other alleys. Let's go down here." And yeah, sure enough, there was a speakeasy back there.
So
Yeah.
they don't like the Irish car bombs because apparently there was a group called the Troubles that would just car bomb everything. So that's why they don't like that you call it the Irish car bomb.
The
When it was like
Irish
basically like
car
well,
whoopsie daisy.
they had like the Northern Ireland is what it was called. So they had that was part of the United Kingdom, and then the Republic of Ireland was the rest.
Yeah, that is
Basically
a real
whole
thing.
war in Ireland from the 60s to 1998, actually pretty recently. So
Oh, wow. Yeah.
probably why they're still a little sensitive about it.
So, like, how did that go to being, like, the name of a drink? Is the-
Well, the idea was that basically it's a bomb shot style, like that's like what the topic, like a Jaeger bomb, right? It's a Jaeger
Okay.
bomb by dropping it in there, so it's the same thing. And it was probably
Irish.
somebody's like fucked up way of saying car bombs. It was probably meant to be exactly what it is, but
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, I didn't order it as an Irish car bomb. I just said I needed more car bombs. So it wasn't. If that helps, I didn't associate it with the Irish. I just.
did you drink it fast? Because you're supposed to, otherwise the cream's gonna curdle.
I did not drink it, but yes, she did drink both of them fast.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's probably why she feels like
Which-
shit.
That's Guinness too. Like I don't know if I could shotgun a glass of Guinness. That's
I've
a
done
pretty
before.
heavy drink.
Guinness,
It's a-
Bailey's, and Jameson
Yeah,
on top of it. Yeah, pretty rough one.
I've done that before. It's pretty good. It's pretty delicious.
You can also call it the Irish Slammer, the Irish Bomb Shot, or the Dublin Drop.
Well, that's a nice one. That one.
Dublin Drop or the Irish Slammer might not be as frowned upon.
Yeah. And if anyone's gonna beat your ass, it's gonna be someone in Ireland. Yeah.
That's not true. That's Conor McGregor.
A full circle.
Full circle. Speaking of which, let's go into our favorite segment. This is why you're wrong. This topic's gonna be brought to us by Steven. Steven, go ahead and tell us your take.
So I get to be watching all these news bits and all this information I find on the internet, and I hear a lot about sports. I hear it's kind of popular. and I hear about the ridiculous amounts of money they pay people to go play around all day. And I just I disagree with that. I don't understand why they get paid so much money to just go play games all day. And it doesn't make sense to me. I can't wrap my head around that. So if you want to explain that to me.
So do you like music? You like musicians?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
I mean, what 90% of musicians do not make what people playing for the NFL make.
90% of people that play football don't make what people in the NFL make.
That's another thing. I don't understand the difference in musicians when there's like pop and rap. Those people do make some serious money, especially when they get popular. But then there's like a handful of rock bands. But
so why do you not like those people? You listen to music, right?
Yeah, I listen to all kinds of music.
But you don't hate it.
I don't get why some areas just have money being filtered into them, and then
popularity.
Others don't. But yeah, I still don't understand why a sports player. What exactly justifies that amount?
It's and then popularity. That's exactly what it is.
Entertainment too.
Entertainment.
Just like movies you
watch. The fact that like the stadiums themselves that they play in are usually paid for by tax dollars and then purchased by like a corporation. So I don't get that. The whole system just kind of seems jacked up. I've never had an interest in watching sports.
It's like where would the money go then? Like, so all the money for ticket sales, all that revenue, merchandise, everything. Where would the money go if not back into the team?
I mean, the small army of people that are working on making this event happen, coordinating thousands of people. They get paid like minimum wage if they're lucky.
I mean, like the people handing Cheetos, yeah, sure.
But that still gives them a job that they might not otherwise have.
I mean, that's like temp work. I don't think anybody's like a full-time vendor unless it's a restaurant or something. I mean, it still doesn't say why they're making minimum wage and this dude who's out there running around working out all day, not really contributing anything, is making millions.
Can you run as fast as that guy and not get tackled or break 4 tackles?
If I was working on it and had years to build up for it, then sure.
I doubt it.
I mean, the thing is, they took those years.
I don't think they shouldn't get paid. I just don't know why they get paid so much.
It's just like you going to concerts then. It's the same thing.
You know how much money a band makes from like ticket sales? That's why they all set up merch, because most of their money comes from that. Most of the money from ticket sales is going to the venue and all the people setting up the venue.
And you know how much those players are making? Oh, like under the actual owners of the NFL?
Yeah, millions. They tell us when they sign a contract. They get paid millions.
Yeah. Some of these guys should be getting paid even more than they are.
I think of like big bands that I like, and they are not making millions. Their like brand might be worth a lot of money.
So my big thing is like I don't know too much about it, but watching from the esports side, because like people will sign $1 million contracts in esports, but that's just like the most amount of money that they possibly could make, and then that's what's thrown on like the whatever the article is, like, oh, so and such signed a multi-million-dollar contract, but that multi-million-dollar contract is you have to win this, and you have to win this, and you have to win that, and you have to do this, and you have to do that. And most of the time, especially in North America, because North American esports isn't the greatest in League of Legends, which is what I follow, like, they're not going to get that anyways, because they're not going to win Worlds, they're not going to win whatever other international event, because they're not as good. So
yeah, and that's the same across most sports. Like they have that. I mean, they've been doing that, right? We just had the NHL trade deadline. They were talking about that, right? The NFL's like season's starting to pick up again, and those contracts, like they have guaranteed money built into them. So, right, it'd be like a $25 million contract, but only 10 million of that is guaranteed. Which 10 million is still a lot, but it's only that amount of it's guaranteed. So they have to. It's based on performance. Right, like in the NHL, it's really popular for those guys to get sent back down to the minors if they're not very good, or it's like a two-way contract. So they may be having like an $8 million contract a year, but if they don't make it in the NHL and they get kicked back down to the minors, it's only like $100,000 contract or something along those lines, because you got to be performing at the highest level to get that money.
I mean, that's fair. I still think the numbers should be a little more realistic.
I mean, that's the thing is, it is realistic because I mean, unless you're not charging for stuff, like not charging for tickets, anyone who can come gets to see, not charging for merchandise because that's like how else does a football team make money outside of that stuff? And then whenever they make this money because it is a popular thing, would you rather just the owner pocket it all or distribute it among the players in more quantity?
I mean, I don't get how. I guess I don't get how the whole setup works. I would think that there's a lot involved from the people that go in and put work in there. Like I said, the stadium, you got advertisers. That's another source of revenue that's pulling in stuff. And who decides where that money goes? I just don't understand the system. That money comes in for ticket sales. Why is most of it go here? Or is it even from ticket sales? Is it from
Well, the NFL, like if you're speaking on the NFL directly or even the NHL, they set a salary cap. So like there's only a certain amount of money that those people can be paid for the like NHL or the NFL or whatever, sport you're in. And like that cap is where it's at. The rest of that money would go wherever. I can't tell you where that goes, but the NFL does set a cap for the amount of money that those players can be paid on the whole team. And that's why you have like some players that even take smaller contracts so that they can have better players on their team so they have a better chance of winning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The whole thing just kind of seems like a racket.
I mean, it's just, there's where would the money go? That's the question. Is like if it's not going to them, then you have millions of dollars going where?
I mean, just divvy it up, put it in a little box and bury it for someone to find. I'd be totally fine with that. I mean, like I said, also like there's a bunch of temp minimum wage workers out there that make that a reality. That
Like, are you trying to
paid
pay
a
somebody
little-
$100,000 a year to take the trash out?
maybe they would like that.
I mean,
Would you? I wouldn't like
I
that.
bet
I wouldn't
they
like
do a
somebody
really good
making.
job.
I would not like them making more money than I do by changing trash at a sports stadium.
Yeah. So do you just do it for fun then?
Well, it's not that they're doing it for fun. It's not like they're getting paid an unfair wage for the skills of that job. The things that those people are getting paid millions and millions of dollars for is a thing that none of us could do, could even get close to doing
mm-mm.
or anything. Like I would be lucky to stay on the O line and not have one of those guys blow through me.
Yeah, because you haven't been working out since high school, and
Even
you
still.
could do that.
Even still, like how many people have been working out since high school or have been working out since the Little League and still aren't good enough for that?
And those guys still, even the O line guys aren't making millions of dollars a year. Unless you're like the center or like a big name person, you're not making that much money. Those guys are making hundreds of thousands, but they're not making the $1 million contract.
Mm-mm. I would actually like to see the number of people who actually have $1 million contracts on a team, not like throughout because I mean even throughout the NFL, I guess.
I mean, they also get. I brought that up before sponsors. So you also do they factor that in? All of? I mean, yes, that's probably for the most popular, but most of the time, who's going to throw a sponsor out there for just anybody who's on the team? Got a little bit of face value. People like getting the brand out everywhere.
When you talk about like sponsors or commercials, that kind of goes into just like, all right, you work whatever job you have, but on the side you do a podcast, or on the side, you trade in magic cards or whatever to earn an extra income. It's the same as them, just trading
That's
on
still
their
your
brand.
I mean, my side business wouldn't be so much tied with what I do as my main source of income.
I mean,
I
now,
could. I
for
bet I'd
what-
have a really popular channel for a few minutes.
I mean, yeah, for your job, I mean, it could. Like if you weren't working a high security job.
Just trust me, I know everything. Find my answers yet?
Looking.
Exactly. Who's sponsoring all these other teams? Did he what did you call it? The people that play League of Legends, the whatever. Those people, how much money they get paid
Oh, they get paid a lot too.
to play
But-
games all day? I mean, when you just break it down to the simplest bits.
But again, it's all because that money's there. That money's there from ad revenue and ticket sales and all these other things, sponsors of the teams and those sort of things. That money's there. They just divide that money amongst the players, right? Like the best player on the team is making the most amount of money. Just like the most of the time it's the quarterback that's making the most amount of money.
So why do they make that much money? And how much does like really good seats cost in there? How much does that cost? Is that like practical, affordable for the average person?
Are you talking about
But-
for NFL or for?
Yeah, like say I wanted like right next to the field, great seats. Do they pass those any of those funds on to their fans? No, they
Because
just
that's
try
where
to.
that money. That's where that
Why
money
would
comes.
it pass on to the fans? That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, you can make the seats a little more affordable.
I mean, the people who spend the big bucks are like people in the boxes, and yeah, they get like buffets and bars and
So,
like
so to be
service.
fair, the
Yeah.
$1 million contract line goes all the way down to 1,754. So if you want to make $1 million or more, it starts. There's 1,700 people in the NFL, 1,750 players in the NFL that have $1 million contract or higher.
And how many people are in the NFL?
A lot.
More than 1,700? Significantly more than 1,700?
I would imagine so. Yeah.
Does that include like coaches and everything? Like,
I don't think it includes coaches. No.
just
Well, there's
strictly
only how
players?
many
players.
people can dress out for each team.
Mhm.
Sure. The grossest thing I saw on this website is that Russell Wilson's the third highest paid person in the NFL. That's disgusting.
Denver
I mean,
selling out big for that.
That's your quarterback, man.
That's your
Oh,
quarterback,
It's
bud.
not my
Dude,
quarterback.
let him
Oh,
cook.
that's your quarterback.
Hashtag not my quarterback.
Hashtag let him cook. Let's ride, Denver.
No.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't mind going to sports and like sitting there watching because you had the drinking. That's not bad. I would like to play sports. That's fun too, but I don't watch that crap.
You would like to play sports?
Yeah, I mean, if it's just like a little friendly game of whatever, that's fine.
I will say there was a time whenever Steven came with me and visited my family in Tuscaloosa, and they're all like super football people. And Steven got there and played football with my cousins.
Yeah, I'll play it. That's fun. Same with
It's actually
the
pretty
video
surprising.
games. I'll play video games. I ain't watching somebody play video games, and it goes all across the board. Every sport.
You
I will-
watch people
Wait,
play video
yeah,
games
you do
all
watch.
the time.
You do.
I don't watch like what you guys watch. I don't watch League of
Mhm.
Legends and people play through a whole thing. I'll watch like a highlight reel of somebody doing dumb shit.
That's you
what
watching.
I watch.
That's you
That's you
watching.
watching somebody play another video game. I've seen your videos. They're all like 30-minute long.
Yeah, I don't watch the whole thing. Or if I do, it's in the background and I'm not watching it.
It all
He's a
just falls
hater.
back to its entertainment that you like. You're willing to spend your time watching. And when you're watching it, somebody's making money off of it.
I mean, that's
Yep.
another thing. We grew up all our families watching sports, and people get so into that crap. Like, calm the hell down.
They got money
I've
on
never
the line.
done that.
They gamble, bro. Good.
No,
No,
you just
not
you build like relationships. A weird way to
relationship.
say it, but you build like a relationship with that team. I mean, it was the same way for me last year with the Avs. Just watching that, being in it, I went to a bunch of games. Like, spent a lot of money on going to games because I like watching it. It was fun to go see. And then when they win, it kind of like culminates that whole thing for you. You know, you feel like you're part of that team in a way.
Hey, I would never. It would just be like watching paint dry. I like the commercials sometimes. Those are good. They get
Only in
money
the
from
Super Bowl.
commercials. Yeah, that's usually where the better ones are. The rest of the time, you know what pisses me off? The absolute worst thing about every single sport, they got a timer and they pause it all the time. They're like, let's just pause it here. They took what could have been a 20-minute thing and turned it into like 5 hours because they won't stop pausing the clock.
I mean, that's just like the general idea of sports.
Ah, just let it run. Just go.
Well, they have TV deals too. They have to like extend.
I mean, that's just a sport in general as well as the rules of the specific sport.
I mean, I see a timer and I'm using that as how long do I have to watch this? And their timers are not reliable. They're just make believe and they're using them for something else. I want to know how long before I can go do something else or before I can see something else. And they just keep stopping it. Like, cool, I got 12 minutes. No, that's probably like an hour. Because they're going to pause it 50 times.
Speaking of pause, and we're going to put a pause in this episode. This has been your least favorite podcast with the friends of mine. we will catch you guys next week for another wonderful episode.
Bye.